Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having an incredible day to start things off. Morgan Creek Digital co-founder and prominent Bitcoin advocate Anthony Pompliano says Bitcoin will soar above 400,000 US dollars en route to an $8 trillion market cap. In a new interview with Peter McCormick, the host of the What Bitcoin Did podcast. If you're looking for an actual really good Bitcoin podcast, this is a very good one. I don't know the guy, not affiliated with him, but it is called What Bitcoin Did. He has a lot of really good people on the show, and he doesn't ask hard-hitting questions, but he kind of just gives it to them bluntly, and he'll, you said this before, what were you thinking when you kind of said that? And he kind of catches people off guard, I guess, in his own way. Anyway, if you're looking for a really good Bitcoin podcast, because people usually ask, what podcast am I listening to? That's one of them. Pompliano explained why he expects the king of crypto. The king crypto will eclipse the market cap of gold. He said, here's what I continue to tell people. Name to me a business that was analog and got digitized, and the digital version is smaller than the analog version. It doesn't happen. It's because digitization brings all kinds of advantages. It's a market-expanding technology. There are people who would debate what the size of the gold market is, but let's just use easy numbers. Let's say it's $8 trillion US dollars. That puts Bitcoin at, depending on how many are lost or stolen, $400,000 to $450,000 per Bitcoin today. Do you think that Bitcoin is going to be equivalent to the gold market? I don't. It's better. It's going to capture more market. To support his argument, Pompliano says Bitcoin is a story of technological evolution akin to the internet-powered giants like Airbnb and Uber. We are nowhere near short of Bitcoin price predictions at this point. They are all over the place. The last I'll say 3 weeks. It hasn't even been a couple of months. The amount of price predictions that have been popping up all over the place are absolutely astronomical. Even from Pompliano to the guy who made the stock to flow thing to every other person talking about where Bitcoin is going to be by the end of this year, where Bitcoin is going to be by summer of next year, and where Bitcoin's going to be by 2021. I've seen a couple of 2023 numbers and some 2024s and 2028s, and now we're talking about the capturing the gold market, which has been a common theme or trend within the cryptocurrency space, as Bitcoin has been for a while called digital gold. And people believe that as Bitcoin is less confiscatable and easily movable than gold actually is, as gold is in a bar or a coin and Bitcoin is just a number on the screen, that Bitcoin eventually will be adopted more by pretty much everyone on the planet. At the moment, for those of you not looking at the screen, it says Bitcoin must stay above 11,000 US dollars for a fresh rally. This one says Bitcoin futures data shows market favors bulls despite $1,500 flash crash, which is also kind of nonsensical. And this one says Cardano's price analysis. Price action suggests more upside. A lot of people are waiting to see if Bitcoin is going to make a move sometime in the relative near future, as a lot of people are saying that it is the market looks optimistic as Bitcoin has remained above 11,000 for a couple of days. There hasn't been a substantial drop or any drop below $11,000 except for the one that we had, was it about 2 days ago? Which also, in my mind, was probably not an organic drop, but that's also up for the experts to kind of dig through. Anyway, the cryptocurrency market has been trending sideways upward, at least over the last 24 hours. I think Bitcoin and a few other coins are actually the only things that are currently up, at least at the time of me making this video. There are a couple altcoins that are pushing their way up as well. And without further ado, let's move on. In very popular news, I think we went over a bit of this yesterday, but now we have like more news on it. Ethereum 2.0's final and official public testnet Mandala is now live, according to the Ethereum Foundation. Mandala is a final testnet for the launch of ETH 2.0, which is expected to happen sometime this year. The correct number of peers joined the testnet to consider it workable, according to a tweet from the Ethereum Foundation. As reported by CoinDesk, Mandala was one of many ETH2 testnets over 2019 and 2020. Unlike the other testnets, however, Mandala was public. Over 20,000 validators joined the network, and around the equivalent of 650,000 Ether were staked. Each testnet was using its own testnet tokens that is supposed to be the equivalent of Ether, but is not actually Ether. So this is causing a lot of buzz within the space, as one might imagine. The testnet is live. This is going to be the final testnet before we are supposed to be getting Ethereum 2.0 by the end of this year. And also the fact that 20,000 validators joined the network in, what was it, a day, is also completely, absolutely insane. Of course, that's not all the Ethereum news, because Ethereum's usually always in the news. There's a lot of hype surrounding Ethereum at the moment. This one says, as the price of Ethereum rises, the incentive its holders have to sell it increases as the price goes higher. Yet, data is showing that many holders of the cryptocurrency are opting to use the coin in DeFi, not to sell it. This trend may be pivotal for Ethereum's bull run case moving forward. Say a number of analysts who believe DeFi will be pivotal for Ethereum's long-term bull case. That person likes the words pivotal. According to DeFi Pulse, data shared by crypto commentator dcinvestor.eth, why not? The number of ETH locked in decentralized finance protocols has gained nearly 30% in the past 30 days. He said, here's a chart which did incorrect last night, and it's up by nearly 30% over the past month. More people are locking and using their ETH as a high-quality collateral asset or a store of value to use in DeFi on Ethereum, and there's that little chart right there. The number has reached 4.3 million Ether, which means around 3.8% of all the cryptocurrency in circulation is currently going to protocols like MakerDAO and Compound. This is going to continue happening. I do not see the DeFi craze slowing down anytime soon. We're going to be talking about the DeFi craze more in the next couple of minutes, because a lot of interesting developments that I just, of course, knew were going to happen have actually happened. But it's a matter of if they can be stopped. I know that sounds ominous, but it's truth and ominous. So at the moment, a lot of people are, of course, logically, this is at least in my mind, not selling their Ether. Why? Because the market is expected. Everyone's expecting. Even the people who are naysayers, and I don't hear them anymore. Everyone's expecting the market to continue going higher, as it appears that economic troubles are going to continue around the world. They're not going to be stopping anytime soon. Also, if we're getting indications that we could potentially, maybe, if be on our way to a major cryptocurrency bull rally, why would anyone even think of selling their Ether at $300-something when it could potentially go past its all-time high and people could make 4 times the amount of money that they currently have in the market? It just doesn't make a lot of sense. I saw other articles like this as well, not specifically about Ethereum, but simply, discussing, no one's really selling Bitcoin despite a drop-off. It's like, yeah, because no one's stupid enough to do that at that moment. If you have sold your cryptocurrency into fiat, that does not mean that you're stupid. It's just more of a, just know that the vast majority of people are holding on tight because everyone's expecting some type of major movement, especially as, I don't know if you've been watching the news over the last like 2 or 3 days, the stock market continues to go up, and analysts are sitting there on TV shrugging their shoulders. Like, actually, if you watch them, they're kind of going like, I don't know, it doesn't make a lot of sense. And they all keep saying that they expect it to fall relatively soon. Does anyone know? Of course not, because that's not how psychic powers work. So it's expected that the stock market is going to have one final push up, and then kind of, reality will reflect it. However, that's not happening at the moment. Anyway, tons of Ethereum is, of course, being locked up as DeFi continues to go crazy. This is going to cause a very rapid surge. If we end up staying on the DeFi course, and DeFi doesn't become like another ICO kind of thing, and the DeFi coins continue to rise in price, and more Ethereum is allocated into these coins, and we get news that Ethereum 2.0 is going to be taking place. And once we have Ethereum 2.0, tons of people are locking up their Ether inside of Ethereum in order to be able to stake more coins. There's going to be a heck of a lot of Ether that is going to no longer be circulating around, and that is the reason probably why no one's selling their Ether. On top of this as well, the Coke One North America, or Kona, aims to utilize Ethereum's baseline protocol in a new project to manage supply chains across different bottling suppliers. According to a report from Monday, Kona established a project called Coca-Cola Bottling Harbor, which will leverage the baseline protocol. The use of the protocol will ensure that transactions are private and stored on the Ethereum blockchain. Right. I think Ethereum has found its use case, and even, I mean, it's just companies. Companies, organizations, institutions, and governments are using Ethereum in mass. I don't think any of us should be surprised. I assume this news won't really make it all over the place, but even though it should, I mean, even the conversation that we've had thousands of times before, that so many major companies, so many major brand names are now directly in the cryptocurrency space, but this will never make it onto actual everyday news. I assume near any of you, you probably did not hear on the 10 o'clock news that Coca-Cola was going to be using Ethereum. Just a guess. Here's the actual article right here on Medium. It says, from Unibright, it says, baselining the North American Coca-Cola bottling supply chain. No one should be surprised at this point. We know that all the major institutions are into crypto, and they're going to continue using Ethereum. I think Ethereum has really, as annoyed as I get with the developers, and have been for a while when it comes to the delays of releasing Ethereum 2.0, the adoption of Ethereum is actually quite outstanding. And even more so if you just use the news that there are countries using Ethereum. When you get all these major companies who are using it, even if it's just for supply chains and figuring out where bottle caps are going, that's still kind of nuts. Anyway, Ethereum's locked up. Ethereum's testnet is officially live with 20,000 validators, and Coca-Cola is going to be using Ethereum as well. And that's all the Ethereum news, I think. Yep. And without further ado, let's move on. Next up, here's a very fascinating one, but wait for it. On the 4th of August, 4 U.S. congressional representatives wrote to the IRS asking the tax authority not to overtax rewards for proof-of-stake blockchains. I promise you it gets weirder. Explaining the difference in energy consumption between proof-of-stake and proof-of-work blockchains like Bitcoin, Representatives Tom Emmer, Darren Soto, David Schweikert, and Bill Foster wrote that the IRS may be overestimating gains. They said, "We believe that taxpayers' true gains from these tokens should indeed be taxed. However, it is possible the taxation of staking rewards as income may overstate taxpayers' actual gains from participating in this new technology," end quote. Proof of stake is a growing concern for U.S. taxpayers. The Proof of Stake Alliance, or POSA, a lobbying group, wrote in response saying that it applauded the letter, which they also helped to write. That was a short letter. I'm joking. Most major crypto exchanges in the U.S. have limited options for staking, possibly because exchanges like Coinbase and Kraken promote their work to make taxes easy for U.S. users. Backing up a lot, like back up a good 5 kilometers. When I saw this, I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then I was like, no, it's money. I don't know these people. They don't know me. Maybe they do. Maybe we walked down the street at the same time at some point. This is happening probably, I'm going to assume these people are either in the cryptocurrency space, have friends who are in the cryptocurrency space, have invested in proof-of-stake blockchains, or are going to be investing in proof-of-stake blockchains. None of this is being done with the taxpayers in mind. It is usually, I don't know if you know how politics work or how politicians work. Not saying that these people aren't the best people on the planet, these 4 people right here, but one has to assume that if people from Congress are asking the IRS to not tax proof-of-stake blockchains or to not overtax them, it's probably because they have a huge, their feet are in the cookie jar. And I'm going to, for some reason, the names Tezos, Ethereum, and Cardano pop into my head. Tezos more likely than the others. Remember last year, or even the beginning of this year, I'm not exactly sure of the time frame anymore, when Tezos got added to Coinbase. And it was such a huge thing that, like, there were articles all over the place, and all these, like, people who we had never heard from before were like, oh yeah, Tezos is going to be a great chain. I assume that a lot of actual very rich people have probably gotten into Tezos, probably own huge amounts of Tezos, and I assume there's also a very big bet on Tezos because of the way that Coinbase listed it and added it onto their platform. That's me. I'm getting the name Tezos for some reason, and I'm not exactly sure why when it comes to this entire information. A very difficult problem is that a lot of these coins, regardless if they are on Coinbase or Kraken or not, are on other platforms, and many of these staking coins can be staked directly at home in your own wallet. So we have entered another phase where they're trying to figure out in their own right how to tax these coins that people are simply not going to... You get what I'm kind of trying to say. Make sure that you are always within the legal framework of your country. However, just because you do so does not mean that other people will be as willing. Proof of stake blockchains and proof of staking as a form of passive income, I think, is going to absolutely explode. I think it's going to be one of the largest things, and I think a lot of people are, I hate the term that they're sleeping on it, but you understand exactly what I'm saying. When we get to a situation where Ethereum is actually having proof of stake, it's all about the numbers. When people start coming forward and they realize that they're making tons of money, this is why we had news before that there's been a huge accumulation of Ethereum before we even got news. Remember that. Before we even got news of the whole DeFi craze, tons of people were buying up Ether beforehand, and that's what I think Ether dropped. What was it, like $80, $100? It was some really low price that we had this year, and then it started skyrocketing back up after we were getting news that tons of people were buying Ether. The long story is, sure, of course, it's probably in their own interest. I don't assume that the IRS is going to have a different taxation law when it comes to this, but also they're making things a lot more difficult than it actually should be when it comes to all of this. I think even the taxation of cryptocurrencies is also quite odd. It's to be expected because governments are always looking for new ways to skim some off of the top from other people's money. But it was really weird because crypto wasn't considered money. I don't think crypto still is considered money within the States. There's no real rules and regulations around it, like a framework. Whatever. You kind of get what I mean, but I don't think it's really going to work out, especially as a lot of these chains end up having private transactions and you can simply stake at home and stuff like that. It's going to be a very messy thing because tons of governments are going to be trying to do this, but it's not gonna work. Tying loosely into that story, here's another good one. The US Securities and Exchange Commission is on the lookout for a tool that can analyze blockchain smart contracts. As first reported by Bloomberg Law, the SEC published a notice on the 30th of July requesting that companies solicit it with applications for a tool that can analyze and detail code within blockchains and other distributed ledgers. The tool, it wrote, would support the SEC's efforts to monitor risk, improve compliance, and inform commission policy with regard to digital assets. Specifically, the software would help the SEC work out how token sales funds are distributed. The SEC has chased after several cryptocurrency companies for running ICOs, Block One, Telegram, Kick, and of course many others. So they want something to be able to analyze smart contracts. If you've been paying attention to the entire DeFi craze and also a lot of other things that are also happening on many other, sorry, talking too fast, that have been happening on many other blockchains, smart contracts are going to be the future. The issue is that a lot of people think that while smart contracts are going to... So here's a discussion I was having with a friend. Hello, I assume you're listening. We were talking yesterday. Smart contracts are going to take over the world in a way that people simply can't understand right now, whether it comes to accountants, tax lawyers, anything that really deals in numbers, anything that involves buying property that can be executed with a normal contract can also be executed through a blockchain smart contract without the need of an intermediary, as it's simply on the actual protocol and people are able to identify and verify things that have happened on the actual blockchain. This problem goes to if you can transfer funds, if you can transfer the ownership of property from one person to another through an actual transaction that's happening on a blockchain through a smart contract, odds are a lot of money is going to be passing through that. But when you end up getting into a situation where we know for a fact that in the future, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and many other coins are going to have private transactions, these things will be very difficult to trace. I think that the ICO thing is being used as an excuse, as in, hey, that happened before and it's going to happen again. No, we've moved on from ICOs. If people are still running ICOs, I'm not sure what's going on in their mind right now. The brand new thing, at least for this year, is DeFi. And with DeFi, a lot of these it comes down to the fact that all these transactions right now are already difficult to trace. People aren't coming forward and announcing that they've created an ICO anymore. It's simply that people are creating these protocols for DeFi. People are making money on these protocols, and it's difficult for people, authorities, to be able to track these things down. And it's becoming a real issue for them. When you talk about the future of organizations like this, if you listen to other prominent people within the cryptocurrency space, a lot of what the SEC does, the CFTC does, a lot of these things are going to be irrelevant in the future. And I mean as far as robotics replacing a lot of these things. Have you ever seen like actual, they're not called robo-lawyers, but it's like people, so I mean, I watch a lot of documentaries about what the future holds as far as technology, and from robots being able to do surgery, for robots being able to find law in nanoseconds. They had a video where this guy who had been in law for 15, 20, 30 years, he knew everything, but he had, of course, like look through some of the books to make sure and double check. And I think they gave him a task to do. I think it took him about 4 or 5 hours, and the robot, it took about 16 seconds. A lot of these things are not going to be here in the future. I don't know if they know that. I'm not sure if they understand the pace at which technology is rapidly evolving. Anyway, the point to be made is that governments around the world are trying to figure out how to really get a hold on this cryptocurrency thing. I think it's interesting to also note that a lot of lawmakers around the world are probably also already into cryptocurrencies, and this is why we're getting news like this, that they're trying to say, hey, don't tax it too much, because they probably already in this spotlight as well. I'm trying to choose my words correctly, because there's something, you probably are getting the hint of what I'm trying to say. The future of cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology will far outpace anything that the SEC, IRS, and CFTC will be able to do. That's not me raising my hand in defiance or saying, yeah, we're better. It's really just the reality of the situation. When you look at what's planned for a lot of these coins, a lot of these blockchains, and just the actual fervor within the market to kind of get everything going. Anyway, I could talk about this I should have made this its own special video, because I have so much to actually say about this. Anyway, yeah, the SEC is looking to track smart contracts, which is not going to work out in the long run. But without further ado, let's move on. And this also ties into the last couple of things that we were talking about as well. An Indian government official has claimed that 2 ministries and the Reserve Bank of India are actively working on a legal framework to ban cryptocurrencies on the subcontinent. According to a 4th of August report from Indian news website Money Control, authorities in India are making preparations to pass a law banning cryptocurrency trading. That's the interesting part right there. The site quoted an anonymous official as saying that consultations between the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, the Ministry of Law and Justice, and the Reserve Bank of India have begun regarding the framework of such a law. Once Parliament resumes for the session, we're hoping to get the law ratified, the official said. Parliament is expected to reconvene in late August or early September. The official stated that the government was considering banning crypto through legislative change rather than methods such as a blanket ban from the RBI for banks dealing with crypto firms. Because it would be more binding, it will clearly define the illegality of the trade. This news is quite popular, as one might suggest, as we have had the news since 2017 that India was planning on banning cryptocurrencies. I do not personally believe that they are going to ban it. What I think is going to happen is what I highlighted. A lot of websites are saying that India is going to ban crypto the same exact way that we had news that Russia was going to ban crypto in many other places. I think that cryptocurrencies will probably remain legal to hold and use as a commodity similar to gold. However, I think the actual trading of cryptocurrencies and the usage of cryptocurrencies in daily activities, buying food, going to the supermarket, anything like that, will be completely outlawed. There are a number of reasons for this, and this kind of being one of them. For those of you not looking at the screen, it says 19 setback. You know what I'm talking about with 19. It says India's fiscal deficit touches 83.2% of annual target in April and June quarter. We had news just a day or two ago that the US had a drop in 32% of their GDP, and it was 41% in the UK, and many other countries are also not faring very well. What's probably happened is, and especially this has been a very long history, and it even goes as far as just a couple of years ago when the Indian government destroyed their larger number bills. I forgot what number was actually on the bill, but they said it was done to stop money laundering and to make people pay their taxes more. Not exactly sure how those really go hand in hand when it comes to the destruction of paper bills. We've had indications for a very long time that many people around the world, we have not gotten specific news out of India, but we have had news that there's going to be, that there has been a huge amount of usage of cryptocurrencies in many countries around the world, even before 19 was taking place. We also know that the really weird part is that Binance and many other companies have also moved into India very recently, and they have websites and stuff like that there. People there are actively trading cryptocurrencies. So I think it's going to be a bit weird that the government announced about 2 or 3 months ago that crypto trading was completely legal. These companies moved into the country, and now apparently they're planning on banning cryptocurrency trading. If there is indeed a blanket ban over the entire cryptocurrency community, this is going to be seen as one of the worst mistakes in government history and probably ever. When you talk about the future of a digitized world and digitized assets, do you understand the backlash that will occur if there's a difference between banning it and banning the trading of it. If they allow it as a commodity and people are then allowed to actually buy up cryptocurrencies, that's one thing. If we get news and indications that the ban is happening, bam, India has banned it, and 8 years later, the price of a Bitcoin is $500,000, and people within that country who may still be experiencing negative economic policies from things that are happening right now, and just also bad money-making decisions by the government in the future, there's going to be heck to pay, is the nicest way of saying it. And also just even, we've seen that other countries that have actively promoted themselves or told other people around the world, hey, you can deal in your cryptocurrency, whatever. In our country, they've done incredibly well. They've had a huge amount of companies who have flocked to them. So no real confirmation on this. To be completely fair, we've had news like this since 2017. 1 month we have they're definitely going to ban it. The next one it's not banned, and then they're going to ban it, and then people can do it. And then the Bank of India says, nope, it's completely banned. And then a year and a half later, we get news from the government saying, nope, they were lying. It's not banned. I don't even think that they really know what they're, this would be the worst economics mistake in the entire world. I can't stress that enough, but it comes down to a lot of countries are, and this was even before 19, but 19 has led them to a very strong power grab. They're trying to get control of everything possible, especially when it comes to finance, and trying to track all transactions. And you see the news that we were just going over as well. We'll see how this turns out. I don't think anyone should be shocked or surprised or have a tear running down their face. We know how policymakers tend to be, but it's just really fascinating. This also has to do with the fact that people have slowed down their usage of fiat currencies. People are also saving a lot more. This is also a very big thing. If you've been paying attention to actual financial news, a lot of people have been coming forward telling people to go out and spend their money. Do you know why they're telling you to go out and spend your money? Because when you spend your money, here it goes. This is how the economy works. You're expected to go to work. When you go to work, you get a paycheck. When you get that paycheck, you use a huge portion of it to pay for your rent, and the rest of it, you buy whatever you might actually need, and then the rest of it goes to other frivolous things. At the end of the month, you realize you have no money. You do the same exact loop all over again. If you start saving money because you want to save money to buy a house, or simply because you are not sure of what's going to happen the next month, the economy slows down. When the economy slows down, the richest people at the top of the ladder end up losing money, and they end up not doing that well. And then the country's GDP goes down, and when a country's GDP goes down, it shows that the country's not doing well. And this creates a really big loop in that this is why we keep getting news, and you've probably heard it before and have been taught this your entire life, that inflation is good. Inflation is not good. Deflation is actually the thing that many economies should be going for, but deflation increases the value of the money that you currently have in your pocket year on year on year, which makes your buying power a lot more powerful than the previous year before. They want the devaluation of currencies, and this is why we have fiat currencies, because it allows you, or makes you, continue working more because the money that you had in your bank account gets devalued. This is why we had such a thing before, many years ago, where if you were getting money from your bank account, the extra 5%, you were outpacing inflation. This was a very good thing. You were told inflation's going to happen, but we can help you kind of outpace it, and now that the banks give you absolutely nothing, you understand what I'm saying. Anyway, it's all just a matter of control, and I wish I had a time machine to go 8 years in the future, like right after Bitcoin's next halving, because it's going to be a completely different landscape, technology-wise, economic-wise, and I think a lot of places around the world will not have kept up. It's like that thing I was telling you before. There was a discussion around 1995 through 1998 where a lot of countries were actually discussing if they should even think of adopting the internet. They were like, the internet is probably not going to take off. You can find old news articles about it, old videos. No one's going to really use the internet. There was even a thing from the 1960s when they were first like creating big computers. There was a scientist or a mathematician who stated, he assumed that by, I think, the year 2000, that the world would only need around 5 computers. People always completely underestimate exactly how far technology is going to go and how fast it's going to move. The point to be made about the whole 95-98 thing is that there was an article that was written around 2010, and someone was saying, they said, can you imagine if during that discussion that many countries were having, should we actually adopt the internet or put things online, if you had 5 countries who were like, nope, we're not going to adopt the internet, we're going to completely stay away from it, how far behind they would have been? Can you imagine if France in 1995 had just never adopted the internet? No one in the country had a computer, had PayPal, had internet, had a smartphone. It would look like the Stone Age is there. Anyway, that's the Indian government crypto ban news. We will probably, I mean, as slow as they've been going over the last couple of years, we probably won't hear about any actual ban until Bitcoin's next halving, because they take a long time. And to finish things off, crypto enthusiasts in Mexico have a new bridge to the world of traditional finance and a new way to spend their coins. Toros, a cryptocurrency exchange, and neobank has teamed up with Dash to launch the region's first crypto debit card, a unique way to spend Dash, Bitcoin, and other cryptocurrencies at any Visa accepting location in Mexico. Toros, which is based in Mexico, offers various financial services, and through an agreement with Visa, can now provide its users with a debit card backed by crypto. The card, though, is only available to account holders who are either citizens or legal residents of Mexico. There's your little thing right there. Dash made a huge move in 2017 and 18, where they were really prominent and active in Venezuela, Argentina, Brazil? Question mark. I know it was a lot of countries within South and Latin America. Apparently, they moved on to Mexico now. I guess this is, I mean, this is cool. I'm once again not expecting a lot of these things to take off. I think that it's nice that people have the option to be able to use these things if they decide to do so, but I don't foresee a relatively soon future of people actually wanting to spend their cryptocurrency at all. Nobody wants to be the pizza guy kind of thing. But yeah, if you're in Mexico, you now have a way to spend your Dash in Bitcoin and other crypto through a debit card. And I don't... I think it's nice that in the future we will have many ways of being able to transact in cryptocurrencies. However, in the short term, it's kind of like... I can't even think of an analogy. Anyway, it was going to be... In my head, I had a seagull and a basketball, but that didn't work out. Like, I saw myself throwing the basketball at the seagull, like trying to get it to catch it, but it didn't catch it. And then I was like, no, don't say that because it has nothing to do with cryptocurrencies, and that's not a real analogy. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. Professor Wally from Gunbot University, Auspicious Agile and Blockchain, Navarro Williams, David James, Attila the Han, Yasha Harari, Oscar Maldonado, Utopia 569, Moonman High, XRP, Joshua Vineyard, Martin Stoyer, Nostromo, John Sarson, the Animal Reader, A Bibliophobia, Todd Mullis, Adam Graysick, Moher Moroni, Master Ventures in Thailand, Jared Schneider, Wise Knight Owl, 242 to the World, Crypto Joe, Bankroll Network, Crypto Artist, Coldy 3D, Damien, Setsuna, Nick Kanaya, Richie Rich III, Vlad the Impaler, Paxis, Nick Manjela, Vodi, Anthony Charles, Jim Garner, Jeremy Fox, Minting Coins, Miller, His Chest Every Day, and Coskip's Leg Day, Yes to Crypto, Bodie McBoatface, Anytime Fitness, Monk's Corner Staff, Arfmedic 17. Ooh, I should probably breathe. Bake Me a Cake, Tigara Macho Nisa, On Crypto with Lionel, Crayola Michelle, URL, and Bolero Bastos. Thank you all very, very much for your support. And thank you to everyone who is a supporter of the channel in their own way. At the moment, Bitcoin is almost up by 1%. Is at 11,366 US dollars. We are above that trend line that we had over the last 24 hours. So that is looking quite nice. Looks like a lot of the other coins are now trying to follow suit. Cardano's already up by 4% over the last 24 hours. I assume this has to do with the general enthusiasm over the, whatchamacallit, over the upgrade. Binance coin is up. All the altcoins are now trying to move up based off this new swing that Bitcoin is currently experiencing. VeChain Thor is up. Zcash is also up, and I'm not exactly sure why Zcash. Do we have Zcash news? I don't think so. Maybe it's just privacy coins in general are doing something. Compound is up. Oh, there go the DeFi coins again. Kyber Network is up by 12%. Algorand is up by 4%. Omise goes hanging in there. Omise goes really... Bless their hearts. They're really... Oh, it's gone. That's... It just dropped out of the top 50. Oh, that's because Icon is also boosting up as well. Anyway, interesting week. No matter what's happening, it's always something new in the cryptocurrency space. Let's see if this momentum continues as people around the world end up waking up. Maybe this is going to be Bitcoin's attempt at trying to move to 12,000 US dollars. I do hope that you all enjoyed. I hope that you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope that it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.